See this?
Yes, sir. Don't worry, I make addition later. Anyway. Alright. So, now guys, we're gonna learn how to do a couple ground stuff. This is part of the Hoshinsul. Don't have Kwan. One of the things that we need to understand when we're doing this kind of stuff is in the street, you don't need to roll with the person. That's not the idea. The idea is go against the rolling. Of course, at some point you need to do a kind of, like a ground stuff. Do the less as you need. But the main thing is finish with the trouble first. So further nothing, we're gonna teach a little bit about 3 basic chokes that you can do on the street, and you don't need a gi or double or whatever uniform for to do this kind of stuff. So the first choke that I'm gonna show you is a simple one. So the simple one that we're gonna learn is the rear naked choke. So what I'm gonna do is put my arm around his neck. Make sure your elbow is right here on the trachea and not on the side, because if it's on the side, probably they're gonna work really well. So make sure you have your elbow pointing forward to his chest. Now my other hand gonna grab my bicep. Here, my other hand gonna come behind his neck, and now all that you're gonna do is just squeeze your arm and maybe your head to his head and make a little bit pressure. When you're practicing this with your partner, please make sure you tap. That way you're telling your partner to stop. So watch this. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Just like that. That's the rear naked choke. You can do this one from sitting, just like I'm doing right now, this way, or you can keep one knee up, doesn't matter. But if you're doing this to a person that, of course, on the street, gonna try to escape or whatever, you wanna get the control of the back. That's very important. So when I'm doing this to somebody in the street, make sure you wanna put your legs, his legs separate. You don't never wanna put your legs cross, because that person can do an ankle lock, or maybe a lock with the foot, something like that. So you wanna avoid all that kind of situation. So key point: legs separate, arm around the neck, elbow pointing forward, grab your own bicep, and push. That's number 1. Number 2, let's say I'm doing my rear naked choke, and he, for defense himself, he's gonna put his chin down. Now, do my rear naked choke is very difficult at this point. So all I'm gonna do is grab my both hands like this, from this point, and I'm gonna slide it nicely and gentle to his neck. That way his chin gonna turn a little bit, and I'm gonna get access to the choke. So one more time, head to head, and put your hands together like this. Just like that. Now, we have another choke. We have a variation of the rear naked choke. That is basically, we are doing the same work that we are doing here, but instead, we have a version on the uniform. Of course, Master Eric is not using his uniform right now because we are doing a representation about what's gonna happen in the street. So with the uniform, he used to get a lapel right here that I can grab, and I can put my hand under and I put it behind his head, and I do my choke. You can still doing this to a person that is not wearing a choke. You see right now, Master Eric, I did it to him. But of course, person on the street grabbing a t-shirt, maybe get broke or something like that. So that's gonna be a little bit risky. But I'm gonna show you a variation of the rear naked choke that you can still choking and you're gonna keep being safe. So number 1, I'm gonna follow the same rule that with the rear naked choke, around the neck, elbow pointing to the throat. Now other hand the same hand that you're grabbing, you're gonna grab his shoulder. Number 1. Number 2, I'm gonna put my hand under his arm and I'm gonna grab behind his head. At this point, I'm gonna follow the same rule: squeeze, head to head, and make power. Master Eric gonna tell when he feels something. 1, 2, just like that. That is the 3 kind of choke that you can use for self-defense. Of course, we have another variation in our system that we are doing the same thing. And of course, the street, he's gonna move his arm, moving side to side, something like that. So for stopping that, I'm gonna grab my both hands and get in control of him. That way, gonna be a little bit more difficult for him to move. And of course, I'm gonna stay here the whole day, so I need to do something different. Now, my hand under. I'm gonna put my hand under his head. Of course, I can try to choke from here, but probably I'm gonna get a uniform on the street. So I'm gonna put my other hand under. I'm gonna shoot my leg around his head, and I'm gonna move my body on the side. As I'm doing this, I'm gonna put my leg over, and I'm gonna push down. Keep on. I'm getting this hand here, so I can do my armbar. Or if you have a little bit more skill, you can do a wrist lock on here. And the last, and not least, we're gonna talk about the armbar from